Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So in the previous class, we started discussing the classification of large signal amplifiers. Under that, the first one is class A power amplifier. Okay, class A power amplifier. Then, what do you mean by class A power amplifier? Simple. See, if the input you are giving sinusoidal signal, okay, sinusoidal signal has both positive and negative half cycles. If the output is amplified version of the entire signal, means output you have again both positive and negative half cycles, and both the half cycles are amplified. Okay, right? Then you say it is class A amplifier. For class A amplifier, okay, it is important that in order to amplify both positive and negative half cycles, okay, see it is like this. The signal swing should be such that there is enough space for both the positive and negative half cycles. Okay, right? The signal swing should accommodate both negative and positive half cycles. In such a case, it is wise that we operate the transistor in the center of its active region. Okay, right? It is important that we operate the transistor in the center of its active region or center of its characteristic, which also happens to be the center of the load line. Okay, in the previous class we have discussed that this is the load line, right? And for class A amplifier, in order to amplify the entire input signal, okay, it is important that we operate in the center of this characteristics, which also happens to be the center of the load line. Clear? Okay. Now let us see what is the maximum, okay, signal swing which can occur for class A amplifier, right? The maximum signal swing, if you are operating here, okay, will be along x-axis. The maximum swing can happen from here to here, isn't it? It is not going out of the range of the straight line. So the maximum swing along the x-axis will be simply equal to, okay, the x component where this straight line intersects the x-axis. Okay, right? So maximum peak-to-peak signal swing. Okay, the maximum peak-to-peak signal swing will be from here to here for VCE voltage. Likewise, the maximum IC swing, okay, will be from the point 0 to this point. Isn't it? We have discussed that the signal swing will happen only according to the load line, because the VCE and IC, okay, the VCE and IC, they are related in according to the load line, right? So if VCE increases, actually what happens? IC decreases, okay, and it follows the DC load line. Okay, it follows the DC load line. So actually, first let us discuss what do you mean by operating point. Operating point. See, when you say point, it is fixed value of x coordinate and y coordinate, isn't it? So what do you mean by operating point? Point means you are fixing, anyway VCC, RC are fixed. Okay, VCC and RC are fixed. Now, if we fix IC, okay, how can we fix IC? We can fix IC by fixing the IB. Okay, we can fix IC by fixing the IB. Okay, what will IB be here? If you apply the KVL to the input loop, here we will have VCC is equal to this loop. Okay, VCC is equal to IBRB plus VBE. Okay, VCC will be IBRB plus VBE. VBE is 0.7 for the silicon transistor. Okay, right? So usually in most uh, our mathematical analysis, we will take VBE 0.7 volt. Okay, so VCC will be IBRB plus 0.7, or we can say like this: IB will be potential difference across RB, okay, divided by RB. Ohm's law. V is equals to IR, or I is equals to V by R. What is the potential difference across RB? One end we have VCC, another end we have VBE. VBE, I told you, is 0.7. Okay, so the voltage drop across RB will be VCC minus 0.7. Okay, so voltage drop across RB is VCC by VCC minus 0.7. So current through RB, which is nothing but IB, will be voltage by resistance. Voltage is VCC minus 0.7. Just now we discussed. Resistance is RB. So IB will be VCC minus 0.7 by RB. Okay. So how do you fix the IB? Just by fixing this. See, I told you VCC is constant, right? Just by fixing this RB, we fix IB. Okay. And if IB is fixed, okay, if IB is fixed, then the relation between IC and IB is IC is equal to beta IB, approximate relation. We add Q indicates we are considering only the DC condition. Okay. Here also this is IBQ. We are considering only the DC condition. Okay. So usually beta is a constant, right? And its usual range is from 50 to 200. It is a transistor parameter which is a constant. So once you fix IB, it means you fix IC. Okay. Now once you fix IC, then we go back to the equation, right? From that you can get a fixed value of VCE. When we say fixed values, for example, 6 milliampere of IC, 6 volt of VCE. Fixed value in a graph always indicates a point. Okay. So that point is nothing but your quiescent point represented by Q, or also known as the DC operating point. Why DC? See, AC signal is varying signal. Okay, AC signal is varying signal. A fixed signal, a fixed value is a DC. Okay, DC is a constant, isn't it? So this point is called as DC operating point or quiescent point, represented by Q. Okay, clear? So how to fix? So actually, okay, important, listen carefully. How it will work as the amplifier. First, a designer will design only the DC part. Okay, DC part is this VCC, IB, RB, ICRL transistor without input. Okay, without this V in. The remaining part the designer will design. Okay, so in that, first the IB is kept constant by adjusting RB, right? Because IB is VCC minus 0.7 by RB. VCC is again fixed value, usually 12 volts. Okay, right? So IB is fixed by fixing RB, and once IB is fixed, I told you IC is beta IB. Okay, and beta is a constant. So if we suppose fix IB as 100 microampere, okay, then IC, okay, IC will be, suppose beta is 100, IC will be 10 million, okay, like that. Okay, so once IC is fixed, a constant value, Then from this relation, I told you already VCC is constant, RC is constant. In the previous class, I told you. Okay. So IC will be okay. IC is just now calculated and we have fixed it to constant. Then from that we will get VCE. Okay, from that we will get VCE because the VCE is only the unknown. Okay, so how we are fixing operating point? How we are fixing operating point? By fixing IB, important point. Okay, by fixing IB, okay, how are we fixing IB? Through RB. Through RB, we are fixing IB. That in turn fixes IC. Okay. And from this equation of DC load line, we in turn obtain the value of VCE. Okay. Thus obtain the DC values because so far we have given only DC supply. Okay. Thus obtained DC values are known as the Q point values or present values represented by Q, okay, and the coordinates will be x coordinate VCEQ, y coordinate ICQ. VCEQ means the DC fixed voltage when no input is given. When no input is given, okay, in this circuit, when you don't give any input, still you have fixed voltage and current flowing through the transistor due to this VCC, due to the DC supply. Okay. And that fixed value is nothing but your Q point Q with X coordinate VCEQ and Y coordinate ICQ. Okay. Together you call it as VCEQ comma ICQ. Okay, right? So again, see, this will be like buy one, get one free. If you understand class A, class B, class AB, class C, very easy. Okay, right? So this is how our subject will be. Understand one thoroughly, strongly, remaining the coming topics become very easy. Okay, right? So I hope you understood what is the DC operating point. Okay, just considering the DC source, the voltage and current through the transistor are the that is fixed values. Okay, that is the DC operating point. Okay, and when you give okay now say suppose so far you have constructed only the VCC, RB, RL transistor. Now the voltage and current through the transistor are fixed point. Okay, now when you give the input, now when you give the input V in, what will happen? Due to this V in, the base current, okay, now changes. The base current, because this is sinusoidal signal, varying signal, so the base current will start to, okay, change in the shape of the sinusoidal signal, okay. And when that base current changes, okay, when that base current changes, following a sinusoidal shape, the corresponding IC changes following a sinusoidal shape. Okay, that is due to the beta multiplication factor. Multiply the IB with beta, you get IC. Isn't it? Beta is usually a large value. I told you from 50 to 200. That is its usual range. So IB multiplied 200 times. Okay, when beta is 200, IB is multiplied 200 times. Okay, so what happens? Okay, again I'm repeating what happens in your transistor amplifier. First, we design the DC biasing. DC biasing means only the DC supply without giving the input. Okay, without giving the sinusoidal input. We consider that is VCC, IBRP, is ICRL, and the transistor. Only this part. Okay, such biasing is called as fixed biasing. Okay, such biasing is called as fixed biasing. Okay, right. So what you are doing prior to the prior to giving the input signal, we are fixing some voltages and currents through the transistor. Okay, right. So that, see, why this biasing? You know, for a transistor to act as an amplifier, okay, the input junction, the emitter base junction should be forward biased, collector base junction should be reverse biased. Okay, so what happens when we force this current, right? Forward bias low resistance, reverse bias high resistance. Okay, so what happens in a transistor is current is forced, right, into the transistor, and same current, almost the same current. The emitter current and collector current are nearly equal. So high resistance at the output due to reverse biased, low resistance at the input due to forward biased. So high resistance by low resistance will give the amplification. Okay, right? So that is how the transistor acts as an amplifier, and this also we have discussed in first unit. Anyway, so what I am trying to say here is only the, you know, this point, for transistor to act as amplifier, it should be in active region. Active region means emitter base junction forward biased, okay, collector base junction reverse biased. Now, in order to give that forward biased and reverse biased, we make use of this VCC, the set of resistors, and the transistor. Okay, that is the biasing part. So, how, as a result of biasing, what we have? We have this point. Okay, as a result of the biasing, we have this point called as the DC operating point. Okay, and now when we connect the input signal, what happens? Due to this V in, the IB is now, okay. Before connecting V in, IB was constant. Now the IB varies sinusoidally due to this V in. Okay. When IB varies sinusoidally, the IC also varies sinusoidally. Okay. So when we connect the input, what happens here? Due to the input, the IB varies sinusoidally, and because IB is varying sinusoidally, IC also varies sinusoidally, but multiplied by beta. Just now we have seen IC is equal to beta. So when input varies, input signal, you give sinusoidal signal, the IB varies sinusoidally. Because the IB varies sinusoidally, amplified version of IB at the IC, okay, means this varies sinusoidally by small magnitude multiplied by beta, say multiplied by 200 times. So large IC, okay, and because IC varies and IC and VCE are related in accordance to the load line, okay. IC varies sinusoidally, because of that the VCE also varies sinusoidally in accordance to the load line. So what happens when we have positive half cycle? IC is increasing. So when IC is increasing, just observe, IC is increasing. So this part, correspondingly, the VCE will decrease. Okay, that is the reason when input we give positive half cycle, IC also positive half cycle, but the VCE, the output voltage, you have negative half cycle. Okay, this is the reason why the transistor amplifier provides 180-degree phase shift. While discussing feedback amplifiers and oscillators, we discussed so many times. The amplifier circuit provides 180-degree phase shift. The amplifier circuit provides 180-degree phase shift so many times. This is the reason. Okay, what happens? When the input voltage increases, say positive half cycle, IB also increases accordingly, positive half cycle. When IB increases, IC also increases. So when V in is positive half cycle, IB is positive half cycle. When IB is positive half cycle, IC is also positive half cycle. But here, if IC and VCE, they are related according to the load line. So according to the load line from here, when you have positive half cycle of the IC, means increasing and decreasing. Increasing and decreasing. Now correspondingly, X value, when IC increases, if you see correspondingly, the VCE decreases. Okay, because the load line has negative slope, right? So when IC increases, the VCE, when the IC increases, from here to here, the VCE reduces. So when we have positive half cycle at IC, we have negative half cycle at VCE, and VCE is the output voltage. Okay, right? Means if we give plus sinusoidal signal, we are getting minus sinusoidal signal. Okay, minus sinusoidal signal means sine 180 plus theta, isn't it? So phase shifted by 180 degrees, right? Okay. So that is the reason why we have 180-degree phase shift in the amplifier circuit. Okay, it could be small signal amplifier or large signal amplifier. Both the amplifiers, they give 180-degree phase shift. Is it clear, students? Any doubts? Is it clear so far? Students, is it clear? Students, is it clear? Please answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Then we will go ahead. So now we have seen how to fix the operating point. Okay, fixing RB will fix IB, fixing IB will fix IC, fixing IC will fix VCE according to the load line given here. Okay, now the transistor is ready to work as an amplifier. On that, if you give input sinusoidal signal, the corresponding IB will vary like this. Because of that, the IC will vary like this. And because of this, the output voltage will be varying like this. Okay. And because IB is beta times multiplied by IC, okay, IC is very large. Because of that large IC, the VC is also very large. And this is how we get amplification, okay, in the transistor circuit. Fine. Now, let us see what is the max. See, it is like this. Suppose you are purchasing something, okay? You will say, okay, how best it can perform, right? What is the maximum? Suppose you are purchasing bike or scooty, right? You will ask, what is the maximum speed it will travel? Okay, suppose they will say 30 kilometers per hour. You will say, no, I don't want, right? Okay, so likewise, here it is important to find what is the maximum output this particular amplifier can generate. So how can we get that? Here it is like this. I told you the VCE and IC are related according to the DC load line. Not only related according to the DC load line, they are limited by this DC load line. Okay. Now here, this particular region happens to be the active region, means the emitter base junction is forward biased, collector base junction is reverse biased. Now if you go beyond, okay, means this is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. If you go into second quadrant or if you go into fourth quadrant, then the transistor is no longer in active region. It won't amplify. It won't amplify means the signal will appear clipped. Okay, this we have seen in the previous class also. So as long as the signal swing is in the first quadrant, okay, then we say that the signal is amplified, okay, without getting clipped. Means the maximum, okay, the maximum swing at the output will be from here to here, okay. Actually, there are some losses, but this is approximately from here to here. Practically, it is slightly less than that, okay. Anyway, so here to here means corresponding the maximum value corresponding to IC will be from here, okay, to here, and VCE, the maximum VCE swing we can have will be from here to here, okay. So that is what we are now going to consider. That is what we are now going to consider. The maximum swing, I told you it is limited by the load line, okay, will be from this point to this point, means x-axis. This also we have discussed, the point where the straight line intersects TVCE. Okay, we get by putting IC0, we got in the previous class VCC. Likewise, the point where the DC load line intersects IC was VCC by RC. Okay, right? So here, what do we have? The situation we have here is the maximum, okay, the maximum IC that we can have is this point, okay, and the maximum VCE that we can have is this point. Straight away we can see Vmax is nothing but VCC, okay. Likewise, Imax, see here, ICQ, the midpoint, I told you it is important that we operate in the center of the load line, so that, see, if we don't operate center of the load line, if we operate here, then what will happen? This peak will be clipped. If we use the maximum by case, the peak, positive peak will be clipped because it will go out of the first quadrant. Okay. Okay, anyway, so center of the load line, the corresponding y coordinate is ICQ. So think and tell me what will this point be? The center point of the load line, okay, is ICQ, is VCEQ comma ICQ. Okay. So this is the midpoint of this one, and that midpoint is ICQ. So what will this be? Anybody think and give me answer? Yes. Easy question. From here to here, we have to find, but we know from here to here it is ICQ, okay, and from here to here The distance is half of the distance from here to here. Okay. So what will this point be? If this is ICQ, the midpoint, what will this point be? Yes, students, these are very important. Otherwise, okay, even pass marks are very difficult. Please answer. This is ICQ, and this is the midpoint of the origin and this point. So what will this point be? First, see, I am not asking you to by heart everything. Logically, I am explaining so that the subject is very easy for you. But I need answers from your side, then I understand whether my explanation is sufficient, should I add anything or not. Okay. Yeah, please answer. What will this point be? First, you should not waste time. Okay. Still lot of syllabus to be covered. First, please. Students. What is the reason? Okay, again, I'm repeating the question. From here to here, the distance we need to find. We know the distance from here to here is ICQ. Okay. Because we are operating in the center of the load line, this point happens to be the midpoint of this point and this point. Means the distance from 0 to ICQ is half of the distance from 0 to this point. So what will this point be?
2 ICQ.
2 ICQ. Very good. Okay, so that point is 2 ICQ. Okay, so now we got I max, the maximum swing along y-axis is 2 ICQ. V max, the maximum swing along the VCE axis we can get is VCC. Okay. Now we have to use this and proceed with our derivation. Okay. So here, now this is ready to amplify because we have biased and we have given the input signal. Okay. This particular class A amplifier is called as series fed direct coupled class A amplifier. It is called direct coupled because load is directly connected in the circuit. Okay, the load RL is directly connected into the circuit. It is called as direct coupled. Suppose we connect via a transformer, then it is transformer coupled. Simple. Okay. So next, we already discussed the DC operating point IB. How to fix IB? Okay, by fixing RB, right? How to fix, if you fix RB, IB is fixed. When you fix IB, IC is fixed. This also we have just now discussed. So next, what we are going to find is we will find out what is the efficiency of the amplifier. Okay, right? Suppose you are, say you are earning and okay, suppose your parents, they are earning money, they are giving to you 100 rupees, they are giving. How much amount if you use, how much amount you waste, okay, that will be your efficiency. Suppose you waste 75 rupees, right, and only 25 rupees is you have used correctly, then your efficiency is only 25%. Okay, simple. Likewise, we are now going to discuss the efficiency of class A amplifier. Okay. Now, in order to discuss the efficiency, what we need to do is we need to identify what is the output power that we get, what is the input power that we are giving to the circuit. Okay. Now, tell me, in an amplifier, which signal is large, input signal or output signal? In an see, these small things are very important. Okay, if you understand these small things correctly, then the picture will be clear. This signal is large in an amplifier, the input signal or output signal. Yes. Okay, let me ask like this. This signal is small in an amplifier, whether the input signal or output signal. Whether the input AC signal is small or whether the output AC signal is small. This signal is small among these two in an amplifier. Logic. Use brain, you can understand. Amplifier, what it does? It amplifies. Okay. So tell me, which signal is large in an amplifier? Whether its input signal is large or when input I am talking AC signal. Whether the V in AC signal is large or the V out AC signal is large. Which signal is large in an amplifier? Students, very easy question only I am asking. Please answer. Students, what is the difficulty in an amplifier? Amplifier means it will make, if it give a small signal, it will, okay, generate a very large signal, isn't it? So which is large, input or output? Will, okay, you think and give answer in the next class. Only 1 minute remaining. We will end the class now. Okay, thank you. But be ready next class. I want interaction. We don't want boring classes, isn't it? We don't want one-way traffic. Okay, one-way traffic. I don't know whether you understood or not. You don't know what to ask. Okay, we don't want that, right? So be prepared. I will upload the video. Watch the video. Ask whatever doubts